So, this is one I've kind of added fairly recently.
This is unprecedented. We've been doing this for a number of years now. This is unprecedented.
Yeah, I took the initiative and added a category for worst game. So this is not most disappointing.
No.
This could be called biggest pile of trash. And there's only one game on this entire...
Before we go here, couple things.
Yeah.
One,
yeah.
Games are hard to make.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Games are very difficult. They're towers of cards that are very difficult to put together.
Yes.
However,
I do not blame anybody who made it.
Well,
maybe, but people who worked on it and all that stuff.
There are questions.
They are very hard to make.
There are questions in this game that I would like answered at some
point. So there is
one
one game on this worst games category, and it's a game that we've mentioned in other categories for jokes, and it is because it is in this category.
And by the time this goes out, people will have seen
at least part of it. Yeah.
No, all of it by the time this goes out. Yeah.
And it's The Quiet Man. So let's talk about why The Quiet Man is the worst game, not that I've ever played, maybe that I've ever played, but it's very bad.
It is the most confusing piece of entertainment I think I've ever seen.
The fact that a lot of the things that happen in that game got signed off.
And it's not a low budget thing.
No.
Like, they filmed a lot of video.
That game has a lot of high definition video in it.
Which requires...
And then they took all the sound out of it for no reason.
Like, that
game, so they made a game. They made a game that was an FMV game with a brawler in it, where the main character is deaf. Say that...
maybe not fully deaf, hard of hearing at least.
Hard of hearing. You say that could potentially be an interesting thing.
That is a good, interesting premise.
They open that game with your main character. Everything is perfectly fine in the FMV. You can hear stuff. You can hear people talk. There are subtitles. Go into an alley. There are some thugs speaking in Spanish. There are subtitles for that.
Yep.
And then it cuts to the gameplay, which is very bad. Is a brawler.
Bad brawler.
Which... the animations are terrible.
Yep.
The jumps between the animations are terrible.
There's no body physics in reacting to the world.
No, the things just clip through walls. They explain nothing. So I didn't find out about the super system until very late in the game. Everything just feels terrible to use. None of the moves actually do anything. There's not even really a combo system. You just kind of hit people and walk after them and keep hitting them.
Yep. You can stunlock people in corners.
You can stunlock people in corners, yep. And then, so you go through that, and then it cuts back to the FMV, and all of the sound is gone, and there are no subtitles for the rest of the game. Now, I thought that in the beginning, we were seeing subtitles because I was assuming that maybe the main character could lip read.
That would be my assumption.
And we... assume that that's the case because later in the game he goes through cutscenes where people talk to him without sign language and he understands what they're saying. So
he says words.
He also speaks.
He vocalizes at least
cutscenes.
Twice.
We hear none of it.
Nope.
None of it is heard.
Yeah.
There are scenes where people even do sign language.
Yep.
That isn't subtitled.
Yep.
Even though we should be able to understand that.
Yeah.
So if you're telling the story from the perspective of the character, it makes no sense. Because he should be able to understand everything.
He understands what's going on.
And then if you're telling the story
as a viewer of that story, we are a third person in that story who is both hard of hearing and cannot lip read.
Yeah. And being told nothing by anybody else.
No, nothing.
So we were left in that entire 4-hour playthrough that we did, or however long it was, to assume the story.
Yep.
Because the game doesn't tell you anything, and you don't get anything.
And then, as a round off, it has the gall,
has the absolute audacity
at the end to then say, "By the way, if you play through it again, it's got sound."
No,
and it'll explain the story.
Like I can't remember what I said at the time, but I should have thrown the controller down and said, "Go fuck yourself." Like that is
exactly what our playthrough ends with. Us signing off.
Yeah.
You saying, I'm quitting the fuck out of this game.
Yeah.
Like,
Like that game does not deserve
also,
a second playthrough.
no,
It doesn't deserve a first playthrough.
I'm going to do it, or I'm going to watch it at some point to see how they do it, because they leave it on a interesting like wait what moment.
Yeah, they give you a little stinger at the end that explains like a little bit of the story.
Well, no,
about...
it doesn't explain it. Sends it down a specific path. You're like, how does that play into anything we've
It
seen
talks a
so
little
far?
bit about your mum, girlfriend, and
wife, sister,
or whatever. What she's actually doing, and then your weird adopted police dad.
Yeah. Who may or may not be the Crow Man.
He is the Crow Man.
No, as a man who's cut that video together,
he's not.
It's not entirely clear if he is or not.
Great.
There's multiple people put on that mask and beat people up.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that game.
And then on top of like the game stuff, all the business stuff on top of it is ridiculous. This is Square Enix, a studio which let Hitman go this year.
Let IO go.
Or the tail end of last year. To say like, we don't want Hitman anymore because we don't think it's financially viable.
Yeah.
However, here's this avant-garde bullshit that we're instead going to throw a substantial amount of money behind.
Sure, yeah.
What, like... So do you want to hear my high level conspiracy theory about
Go for it. I love
Man?
high level conspiracy theories.
Here's what I think happened to the Quiet Man.
Okay.
Based on the news stories that have come out of Square Enix being like the Tomb Raider game specifically, not meeting expectations.
Yeah.
Those expectations being millions of copies.
Yeah, like 9 million units or whatever. Yeah.
Somebody, you rant more. I want to very quickly check something.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that even from a top-down perspective, like nothing about anything in this game kind of makes sense.
Oh, right, yeah, okay, sorry.
You got it?
Yeah, I found the thing I was going to do. So, this is a game, also this game was made by Human Head.
Yeah.
Developed by Human Head.
Yes.
Who are not, so, and I want to look up their things. They have made some not great games, to be fair, but they made the original Prey.
That game's good.
They made that Prey 2 thing, which never really existed. Well,
could have been good, yeah.
Could have been good and was exciting at the time. They made, what else did they make? Rune, which I think was a reasonable game in 2001-ish. And then they made one of the Blair Witch games for that.
Right.
Like, they're not terrible developers.
Sure,
with
yeah,
a history,
they have
right?
potential, yeah.
So my thinking was, Human Head had some brainstorm and was like, how about we do this thing? And they did the thing and went to Square Enix and said, or Square Enix came to them, or like, this is an interesting thing that we want to try.
Yeah.
But it's only 3 hours long. There is some metric somewhere in Square Enix that says like this line has to go above this line, so it needs to be at least 3 hours longer than that.
Yeah.
And they went, how about
we take out all the sound?
Take out all the sound.
Yeah.
Because actually, without the 2 scenes in that game, somebody signs.
Yeah.
There's no indication the main character is hard of hearing.
Not really,
There are 2 signs where somebody signs.
No, there's some point in a cutscene where he does like
the
this.
very first cutscene where he points his ear.
Yeah.
And there are 2 scenes where he signs.
Very
quickly. He signs and Tay signs at one point.
Tay, yeah.
I know every character in that goddamn game. There's no real indication that he's hard of hearing.
Yeah.
So you could change that entire game by adding a couple or removing a couple of scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that game was about somebody who's hard of hearing at some point. I think that was just a game.
Still think it was a game about a guy who was in love with someone who looked like his mum?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that the fact that he's hard of hearing is... That's possible. One possibility.
Yeah.
The other possibility is that the second version of that game with sound was going to be the original thing, and they needed to double the length of it.
So they took the sound
How about
out.
we take the sound off? But it was made so last minute they didn't actually think about it.
Very conspiratorial, but yeah.
But entirely plausible.
Entirely plausible,
that game
but yeah.
Is terrible.
Fuck that game.
That game is so bad and has zero redeeming qualities. Like,
no, there's nothing about it.
It's not even particularly like again, very much like Sea of Thieves. We had to make our own fun in that game.
Yeah, we did. Like, you'll notice, like, we talked about this, but you'll notice that in our playthrough of it, like, I just slide down that couch.
you get. I watched a lot of that thing in fast forward, trying to cut scenes together. And you just there's a graph that you could draw of you just sliding
of my head,
down the couch, and then we break for food, and you go back up again, and then it just bad.
It's just bad. It's just so bad, and everything about it doesn't make any sense. And that kid looks like Bruno Mars, and yeah.
And even with the bits of that game I've seen with the audio, doesn't make it any. I mean, it doesn't make it much clearer.
I'm sure it does.
And even the don't need dialogue, are so contrived and make no sense. I hear you with my blood.
I hear you with my blood is a great sentence.
Great
sentence.
Oh, the Quiet Man is the worst game we played this year.
Don't play The Quiet Man.
Watch us play through it instead.
We did it so you don't have to.
Exactly.
And this is it. This is the last category. And this is Game of the Year.
Yep.
So, once again, this will be 5 games in an ordered list. And this is our combined Game of the Year. We'll each have our separate individual top 5s, but this is our joint site stamp approved top 5 games of the year. Yeah. And the list goes.
This list is basically every game we played this year that I can remember.
This list goes. The Council. Oxygen not included. A Way Out. Well,
Oxygen not included is still in early access.
Okay, take it out. No, you really like that game.
The game's real good.
Yeah.
We'll come back to it next year.
Yep. Vermintide 2. God of War. Yakuza 6. What's the subtitle for Yakuza 6?
Song of Life.
There we go. Nintendo Labo. I forgot that was even a thing. Yoku's Island Express. Frostpunk. Objects in Space
is also an early access game.
Okay. Oh, is that weird space sim game? Yeah. Beat Saber. Quarantine Circular. The Red Strings Club. Exapunks. Monster Hunter World. Return of the Obra Dinn. Hitman 2. Pillars of Eternity 2. Lethal League Blaze. Spider-Man. Octopath Traveler. Ni no Kuni 2. Into the Breach. Graveyard Keeper. The Quiet Man. Red Dead Redemption 2. And Super Mario Party.
We'll just lock the Quiet Man.
Yeah. Top of the list.
Top of the list.
Ignore that last video we just put out.
I'll do it in the reverse order.
Okay, so do you want to put a line in?
Yeah, I'll put a line in.
And we will do our usual thing of going backwards and forwards and talking about stuff that we think should or should not be on this list.
Okay. Line to the top before.
Okay.
The Council.
You may have first cut.
The Council is not in the top 5.
I agree. That game has problems.
That game has severe problems. I appreciate So I didn't talk about this in Best Moment because it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
But the end of episode 3 in that game, you finally find your mother. Which is the whole you're driving force through the first half of that game. She's been hanging out in the what do you call the area where you bury people?
Graveyard.
No, under catacombs. Catacombs of the house. She's been living under there. Comes and says, "Hey, by the way, the guy in charge of this thing is possessed by a demon."
Great.
And she seems real serious about it.
Excellent. I love it. Top of the list.
I have not played the last 2 episodes of that game. I will get back to that.
Okay. So, I don't think Nintendo Labo is one of the best games of the year.
I do.
You're crazy.
Are
you kidding?
I want to move it above that line for now.
Okay.
And we can come back to it. Okay.
Alright. When you go.
Actually, we should have 2 lines. I've just
the 2 lines of
one for definitely out and one for
some maybe in,
or ones we haven't talked about yet.
Right. Okay. Sure.
Okay. I do not think Yakuza 6 is
fair
because it didn't make most disappointing, but it was close.
Okay.
Because the sheen of Yakuza 0 wore off when I realized that Yakuza 6 was more Yakuza.
Yeah.
And it didn't live up to the highs of 0.
Not even with all the New Japan wrestlers, and you don't even know who they are.
No. Those guys look real nice.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's up there. Sorry. The Cat Cafe was a good mini game.
Okay.
And you have to feed those cats, and those cats are lovely. But it's not
one of the best games.
Of the year.
Fair enough. I don't think Super Mario Party is one of the top 5 games of the year.
I agree.
Yeah.
Can we have a rule for the future that where did that game go?
Way at the bottom of the list.
So it is. I don't think games that potentially ruin my marriage deserve to be in the top 5 games of the year. Moving on.
Okay. Your pick.
I don't think. I don't think Yoku's Island Express is one of the top 5 games of the year.
Okay.
I think it's a very good thing.
Yeah, I think it's very charming. Yeah.
Very, very charming. I really like how it looks. I like the music. There are sections of that game that are very frustrating because of the mechanics.
Sure.
So I will move that into the note.
I don't think. I don't think A Way Out is one of the top 5 games of the year.
I think you're probably right.
I think
it
has
right.
a couple of good moments and some very bad moments.
I think some of the dialogue is pretty bad.
The voice acting is pretty bad. And that final scene is taken directly out of Heat.
Yep.
And it's very bad.
I think
the shooting in that game is bad.
Does not work well for that final scene.
Yes, that is not what that game is about, and it shouldn't have happened. I understand why it happened, but it should not have happened.
I don't think Frostpunk is one of the top games of the year because I did not put enough time into it to really get there. I like a lot of what that game does, but I have not had the time.
Yep, it's fair.
Come back to that next year.
I don't think Ni no Kuni 2 is one of the best games of the year. I really like it. I think it looks great. I think it sounds great. I really like Lofty. I think Lofty's great.
Welsh Pixie.
So great. I love him so much. I wish I could have one in real life.
I really like. But that's illegal.
I like the base building mechanics.
Yeah.
But it is very samey and very easy. And
your main character having a gun.
Oh no, that's not the main character. That's one of your party.
Oh, one of your party.
So yeah, that I should talk about. It didn't make best moment because it just was dumb and it was really short. But like that game opens with President of the United States going to a conference in New York in his motorcade crossing a bridge, and a nuke goes off on the bridge. Wakes up in the fantasy land inside Ding Dong Dell with Evan Petty something, I can't remember his last name. And as the rat people are taking over, he instantly realizes that this is a coup because he's the American president, so of course he knows what that is. Adopts to save Evan, and on the way out gets accosted by a couple of beastly cat knights, and to get round it shoots one of them in the face with a 9mm pistol.
Right. I need to watch the intro to that game.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's kind of great, but nuts. Yeah, but it's not one of the best games of the year.
Is Vermintide 2 one of the best games of the year?
No, it is not. It is a great game. I had a lot of fun playing it.
I enjoyed what I played.
But it's not one of the best.
Okay.
I don't think Beat Saber is one of the best games of the year.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
I will say it's a very fun VR thing.
Yes, watching you flail around pretending to be a Korean superstar before we started recording.
We all wanted to do that.
Was hysterical.
Exactly.
Me and your wife were very much enjoying it.
Good.
And you couldn't see us, and
I'll
it was
be doing
great.
it again when you're not here tomorrow.
I'm sure. So now your wife just gets to laugh at you.
Exactly. She does that daily. Okay. I don't think Corn Sunny Circular is one of the best games of the year.
Really? That thing sounds cool.
It is, but
the top 5, I guess. Yeah.
The top 5, and like I'm picking things here, and it's like things I'm gonna fight for.
Yeah.
You know what? Like I'm looking at things I want to fight for.
Yeah. Are you counting?
I'm just trying to see what's possible. Yeah, okay, I'd probably put my weight behind other things than Quarantine Circuit. But that game is a real cool narrative thing that is super small and super cheap.
Yep.
It's very cool.
I'll say Red Dead's not one of the top 5 games of the year.
Because
it's not getting past you.
No, there's no...
I don't even think it might not make my top 5, but...
Really?
Maybe not, okay. But... I think I think that it does enough stuff.
You just knocked an hour off this conversation. Congratulations.
What?
You just knocked an hour off this conversation.
Oh no, I was never going to make top 5. It's fine. It was like, I know what that game does well, and there are many things that get in the way of it doing the thing it does well, which is not what you want.
Good. Okay, so we're now gonna step on somebody's toes here.
Yep.
I don't think there's an easy cut and there's a hard cut here.
Okay.
I don't think Spider-Man is one of the games of the year.
In the top 5?
Yeah, because I'm looking at the things that we've both fought for over these awards.
Yeah.
And like Spider-Man is a really good one of those. Or no, sorry, that's selling it short.
Yeah.
It's an excellently put thing.
A very, very good one of those.
But like,
I will move it up with Labo. I'm not quite ready to cut it yet, but I can see where you're coming from with it though. I will do a hard one, and I will say the Octopath is probably not one of the top 5 games.
Oh, interesting. Really?
It's not gonna hang with the two of us.
I mean, if you could make me an argument for it, like,
well, the problem is that there is no argument that I could make because that thing is a traditional JRPG.
Okay.
Like that is what that thing is. I love it for what it is, but it's not gonna fly. So
sure. Okay. Is Into the Breach one of the top 5 games of the year? I didn't put any time into it, so I'm gonna have to
It's
go with
really cool. It's got some really good ideas.
For me, it's not like excuse me. That game was not a puzzle game. I'd probably play it, but it's very much a puzzle game.
It's very much as what that game is. Yeah. It's got some really neat ideas and it executes on them very well, and it does captivate if you get your mind into it. But I think I just beat it too quickly and then just didn't want to go back to it because I was like, oh, I've done it.
For people who know me and are watching this, I haven't had a chance to play Mutant Year Zero yet. That is probably right up my alley.
Oh yeah, me neither.
It looks really interesting.
It does look pretty cool. Me? Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, I think so.
Graveyard Keeper is not one of the top 5 games of the year. I really like it. I think that game's really cool. It's got a lot of charm and it does a unique thing in the Harvest Moon Animal Crossing space where it is kind of dark, which those games are not typically.
And like, honestly, like your conversation about Donkey earlier kind of sold
the writing's really cool. Like there's a lot of charm and like
the things I didn't expect to come out of that game.
Yeah, there's really individual stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a positive one. I think Lethal League Blaze is one of the best games of the year.
I'm with you. I'm right there with you.
That is a type of game I don't play.
That game's fucking incredible.
Fun playing that game. Okay.
Do we want to do positives now?
I don't mind. I just wanted to do that now to.
Okay. Pillars of Eternity is not one of the best.
Really?
Nah.
You like that game?
I did really like that game. You're right. It's not one of the top 5 though.
Okay.
If it's top 10, then yeah, sure. But I don't think it's it might make my top 5. I'm not sure.
Okay.
If I didn't play through Danganronpa this year,
really?
I might have done it.
Fuck, that game really got you, didn't it?
You've got no idea. Like,
I'm gonna make this list easier, and I'm just gonna move God of War up to the top 5.
Yeah,
that's probably gonna.
I agree.
Here's the thing. I'm in two minds about Hitman 2. I really like Hitman 2.
Yep.
But it's also Hitman 2. Like
it's just more Hitman.
It's more Hitman. Like that last level, like is.
I was gonna say
utterly incredible.
The last level sounds great, and it won. Like
and I will say like some of the other previous levels before, like the first 3 have basically direct parallels to the 1 levels. Where Miami's different.
Yeah.
Very different. Morocco is basically Sapienza. Like it's like a village and a big house.
Right.
And then the level after that is what the fuck's Morocco? Shit.
I don't not played it.
So and then Mumbai.
Oh.
And Mumbai is the Morocco level for the first one.
Right.
Marrakesh.
And
then the last 2 levels are one of them is the one after that is the suburban US suburban level, which is insane for a whole bunch of other reasons.
Sure.
And then Isla Sigil or whatever it's called is the last level. Like it is more of that game. there's probably not a game you can buy this year that has the most value of buying Hitman 2 and getting the original.
With one, that thing is really good value judgment.
So much.
Yeah.
There's so much game in there. But I'm looking at things I would fight for.
Yeah.
Like there are 3 other things in that bottom list that I'd probably fight for more than Hitman.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the bottom list, but it might come back depending on how we fight this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move it there for now.
Well, I'll make things more difficult for you and say that Monster Hunter World is one of the best games of the year.
I knew this was gonna happen. I got a feeling this was gonna happen. I'm gonna move it up.
Yeah.
I think Return of the Obra Dinn is one of the best games this year.
I don't think Return of the Obra Dinn is one of the best games of the year.
Okay, let's talk. The last 2 we've got in here is Red Strings Club, X-Punks, and Obra Dinn.
Yep.
Like, these are my games, right?
Yeah, they are your games. I from what I've seen, really like what X-Punks does.
Yeah, there's a hard argument for there's a strong argument for X-Punks where that is multiple levels of iteration on what Zachtronics games are.
Yeah.
And it is the cleanest and pure. It's not the purest, but it's the cleanest and best presented and most flexible one of those.
Best executed.
And best executed for sure. Like, it solves a lot of the problems I had with some of the originals.
I also really like the initial thing that kicks the story off, where it is like you have an illness that you need to pay medicine for, but you can't afford the medicine, so you get into hacking to do it. And one of the first hacks you do is to hack your own body.
When you start hacking your own body, and this is, again, some of the kind of cyberpunkiness of that is really good, and also like no joke, getting those actual printed versions of those zines is fun.
Yeah,
and
then it becomes Keep Talking and No One Explodes, where you're
totally you're flicking through stuff that's there. They've added more stuff on that game where there's a free version of that game you can download, which is just the player. So one of the things you do in the game is you crack a game console.
Yeah.
You break the region encoding.
Oh, sure.
On a game console and crack it open to put homebrew on it. One of the things you can do is program the homebrew system to make games, and it's got a 32 by 32 LCD screen that you individually program.
Yeah.
There's a free version of that game you can download from Steam, which is just the player for those games.
Oh, I've seen the I've seen the input for this.
So through the Steam Workshop, you can then download games that people have built asteroids and shit, and it's impressive the stuff that's there. And then built on top of that, there's a multiplayer mode in that game, which those games have never had, where you program your bot to do a specific task better than somebody else's bot, and they both go at once. And you do it against AI.
So is this efficient programming versus mode?
Totally.
This is
one of them is literally not Capture the Flag, but King of the Hill, where there are 3 zones, there are 9 zones, but 3 of them have flags.
Yeah, and
you have to have your bot hold a file in that thing for the longest time. You get a point for every cycle that you hold the file.
Right.
And the other bot can go in and
that sounds really
kill
cool.
your bot.
Yeah.
But you lose points if you use the kill command, so you have to do it other way.
Right. That's really
there's so
smart.
much stuff in that game, and it's just it's the best one. I'm moving that onto the list.
Yeah,
I think
I'm okay with you moving that onto the list.
And not. Oh no, I just put it in the wrong list. There we go. I don't think Red Strings is going to hang, and I think it's had its good points mentioned in the previous categories, so I'm going to move that off. I really think Obra Dinn's on this list. I really do.
I think that with the games that are already there.
Okay, let's.
So what we have is in the top list is Labo, Monster Hunter World, Obra Dinn, X-Punks, God of War, Lethal League Blaze, and Spider-Man.
Yep.
We have to make 5 out of that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So you have to make 2 cuts.
Okay. So for me,
I know what I would cut.
Yeah, I know you would. So I think the ones we can agree on, right?
Yep.
Is God of War and Lethal League.
Yes.
I'm fine with those things.
Yeah.
The amount of times I switched on Steam this year to watch you playing Monster Hunter was incredible.
That game is staggering. That thing, especially playing through it with people that know Monster Hunter. I don't know Monster Hunter. Yeah. And I played that game as an experiment to see what Monster Hunter is. Right. I like doing this every so often with popular franchises to see, I want to see why people like this. Yeah. And playing through it and having people explain to me, how this game has changed Monster Hunter so much for the better.
Yeah.
Like, everything is way more streamlined and user-friendly, and like you always have a map. You don't have to pick up a map anymore.
Yep.
The monsters are always on the map. There's no more paintballing. They're always there. Everything's friendly. Everything's easy to use. You have a quick item select now, so you don't have to sit and thumb through menus. It's all little quality of life changes that have all led into this thing being so accessible, as opposed to being a giant brick wall in front of everybody to understand how to work.
Yeah.
So what you can get into by getting over all of this is the real nitty-gritty of what that game is, which is understanding differences in weapons and what you can do as a user of that weapon, and learning what the weapon can do and all the combos and stuff. Working with people to take down real big dinosaurs by using the strengths of your weapon and teamwork and everything. Really smart ideas.
Like the idea that there's a raid in that game is astounding.
Crazy. And the behemoth fight, which only just got released on PC like last week, totally flips every mechanic in that game on its head. Right. Like, where they made it more like an actual MMO fight, where you have threat, you have like range DPSs, and they have like damage indicators and everything, where you actually have to go into that fight now with a tank, a healer, a DPS, and a melee DPS, or else it doesn't work. And that's so smart that they have so much space in this monster design area where they can do crazy shit like this, where they go, we're going to introduce a threat system, we're going to make it so that you have to do 4 different fights, we're going to make it so that...
So my question then is, like, does any of the structure around it knock against this, where like it sounds like getting a group together is not an easy experience?
So the only thing that detracts from it was, at launch, the servers were crap. You couldn't join online sessions, and it was really hard to get into people's games. Even now, like the online stuff is fine now. Like, you can get into games, no bother.
So,
you can match people up.
About, like,
but yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
So the actual act of joining a quest with someone can be a chore.
Especially if you're at different levels of the game.
So if you're at a point where when you introduce a new monster, there's a cutscene for that monster. There's an intro cutscene. That has to be done by you and you alone. Yeah. Can't have people join you. So if you then do your cutscene and come back, you can join with people that have done the cutscene, but if your friend turns up late and hasn't done the cutscene, you then have to wait for him to do the cutscene, for then him to join you, so that you can all go off as a 4.
You also have to see the cutscene, back out, join the team, and then come in?
You don't have to back out. Okay. So what you can do is... The time at which you know you can get people to join is there a message that comes up that says SOS flares are available.
Oh, okay.
Which is like your in-game way of basically calling for help, saying, hey, anybody join my game. Yeah. You can search for SOS flare and find that game.
Oh, okay.
So it's not that bad.
Okay.
It's if you want to, from the get-go, like from the hub, all go out as a 4, then you have to start worrying about cutscenes and who's seen what and who's where.
So the problem with me is that, like, so say I wanted to pick up Monster Hunter tomorrow.
Yeah.
That would be a nightmare, because every single creature I would go into, I'd have to watch the cutscene.
Yeah.
The next one, you'd have to leave. I'd have to do the cutscene back in again. So the mechanic stuff.
So there is that minor problem, but
once you hit end game, that's not a problem.
Not a problem at all.
And is there?
And you do see all the cutscenes fairly quickly. Okay. Like, it is not that big a deal fairly quickly.
And then there's
that is like probably the only blip I can find in that game. Like, everything else is
there's nothing about
amazingly well designed.
Like the PC update schedule being all off.
No, because they've totally made up for it.
Really?
Like it was behind consoles for a while, but now everything that was on consoles is now on PC.
Oh, it's done it?
Yep.
Okay.
That's everything is there. The Behemoth was the last big thing, and that got released last week. Okay. And now everything is there, and they're starting to sync up their schedules for their events and stuff. That's the other thing I like about it, is that their updates, although the schedule was behind on PC, they are always doing a new thing.
Yeah.
Like, there is always something new to see, or some new monster to fight, or some variant you can go and do, or like even something as simple as like a festival, like an event, like the Winter Festival or the Autumn Festival or something like that. And out of that, you can get like unique looking armor, or you can make your...
How well does it advertise, like, hey, you're not watching a patch note says, like, if you go in the game, it's like, hey, we added this.
The first thing you do when you load into the hub is a message comes up on screen saying, here's the news, and it is this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing.
Fair enough.
And my Palico now looks like a giant walking about voxel Mega Man, and that's fucking amazing.
Okay.
And he makes the little Mega Man doot noise when he walks around.
Okay.
And I've also got the armor set that now turns him into a Moogle, and it's the best.
Okay. I could totally see that being there.
Yeah. Explain to me why Nintendo Labo is one of the best games of the year.
It is the smartest thing Nintendo have done in a long time.
Okay.
I think it is the epitome of, if I had been 12, this would have been the greatest thing I'd ever seen. And also the fact that like we did it and it worked. Like, in my head, there's no way that piano works. Like, it just does. Like, it's such an intricate thing with so many moving bits. The fact that it was responsive at all is astounding to me. And then, like, you look at all the different bits of, like the fishing rod itself is a relatively simple bit of kit.
Yeah.
But, like, the effect is, it's effective.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not going to lie, there's a part of me that almost bought the new one, the steering wheel with the joystick.
Oh, the vehicle kit or whatever?
The new one they just released, which is like, because I need to know how that shit works.
Yeah.
Like, I need to know how they're doing it.
But when was the last time you touched your Labo stuff?
I don't think it matters. Like, I think that, like, the act of building the thing, it's an Airfix model. It's a remote control helicopter.
Is that a video game?
Yeah, no, but it's a Switch thing that got put out this year. Like, it doesn't work with a digital component. And I just think it's like, it's such an incredible concept that there's no other company in video games that would do that.
Mm-hmm.
And even the way it rolls it out, like when we did the piano, like even just the Lego like instructions of the thing, the fact that you like, it's not only does it have the things you need, like you can rewind and fast forward, you do other stuff, it's all tied in like graphically, there's the music dropping out and coming back, like the act of building the thing has so much attention put into it.
Yeah. And
then you finish it and you get dropped into the first keyboard, which is like, oh, hit these cats and they make noises. You're like, well, is that it? And then you back out, it's like, no, here's this other bit.
You've got the actual synth bit.
And then here's the bit what happens when you cut those cards that you were asking about up. And then here's what these dials do. And also, it's also a 4-track recorder if you just want to fuck around with this thing. And then like I sent you the video of like that dude playing the Final Fantasy 13 battle music on it.
He did
like,
more as well. He did other stuff.
There's a bunch of them. Yeah. Like, it's such an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah.
That one doesn't play in any of these categories. And also, like, it's just a thing that needs to continue to happen. Like, it's...
So my worry is that nothing happens. Is that this is a thing that has happened and they will not do anything with it.
The fact they put out a second set is a set more than I thought they would. I thought this was it.
Sure.
But like, and even like, and again, like, even for Nintendo, who are such a company that are so backwards in like things that we take for granted, like the internet,
the online stuff,
the fact that they're like, no, like, here's the PDFs for all of these sheets.
Yeah.
You need to print them because you have children, so of course it's gonna break.
It was, building that stuff was fun. I like building that piano was dumb.
But my argument is now, do I take that over any of these other things? I'm having trouble building enthusiasm for Spider-Man.
I'm with you.
Like,
with this list, I'm with you.
Like, it was really good and I really enjoyed my time with it. And like I said, like, I liked the narrative directions that most of that thing went.
Yeah.
But like, once I was done with it, I was like, okay, I think I didn't go back and 100% it.
No.
I was fine with that.
I think it is just an excellent one of those.
And I was also super excited for the Black Cat DLC.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that wasn't great. So I don't think it's going to
I'm with
handle
you.
with these
That's
things.
So there's one more cut we have to make. Honestly, in all honesty, I would cut Obra Dinn.
Over Labo?
Yeah.
What
if it was either going to be Labo or Obra Dinn.
What is it about Obra Dinn that really you don't think hangs?
Like, I like the idea of it. I really like the idea of it because I love murder mystery stuff and like piecing together. And that first chapter that you do, where it's like 4 bodies or whatever, a really good introduction to that mechanic. It then gets really, it throws a lot at you really quickly and does not give you a lot of feedback about what's relevant and what you should be doing. And like I said before, I think it's visually quite confusing. Like, it's a really unique style and I like it. It just isn't good at conveying the information I want in a game like that. Even when I tried the different like color settings that you can get, it's not even a factor of like it was in the wrong color. It's just a factor of
the factor of that
there
style.
Isn't enough detail here for me to get what I need out of it. And yeah, I felt for the first, I played that thing for like 2.5 hours, and for like at least an hour and a half, I just felt like I'm wandering around looking at these corpses, and I don't know what's relevant and what's not, and I'm just gonna keep looking at these corpses, because the game never tells you stop. It tells you the three star system about you should be able to figure this out and all that stuff is a decent, like, you do have to keep looking at that book. That's a good idea because that's the central mechanic of that thing. But just a little bit more signposting or something instead of just going like dropping you in the thing and then going, there you go.
Did you ever have a moment where you did the lateral thinking of being like 2 strands of information and tie them together?
Yeah, like I totally did that. Like there was a couple of moments where there was a moment where I was looking at bodies and out on deck or something like that, and I listened to a bit of dialogue, and someone said, blah, 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 you Dane. And I went, oh, they're from Denmark. Like, opened up the thing, scrolled through the list, and went, oh, there's only one person from Denmark. I know who that is.
Okay.
Done.
So there's a couple other moments that maybe you didn't hit then that really sold it for me. There was a moment where like the scales fell from my eyes, where there's a moment later on where there's a sequence with where one of the crew is sick, first introduction to the doctor and that kind of area, and I'd got all of the chapters unlocked and I was working my way backwards through the 1-star and 2-star things, and there's a moment where it's like, you should know who this guy is. Like, 1-star is a piece of piss. You should know who this guy is. I'm like, clue. I have no idea. And I was watching the scene, and it turned out to be a really pivotal scene, the most boring part of it, where there's a scene where like the guy who's ill is coughing in his bed and his 2 friends are helping him. Meanwhile, behind them, there's a set of 4 guys playing cards, and it's at night, and everyone is in the middle deck, and everyone is asleep in hammocks. And I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is. Like, I know he's not European. Like, he's obviously from, because like there's a couple of guys from Iraq, or like Iran, sorry, Morocco, and that kind of is. Like, it's obviously somebody from there. I can't piece it together. And then I was staring at this thing for a while, and then suddenly it clicked, and there's number tags in everyone's hammock. And I was like, oh, I've never seen these before. Okay, so I'm looking around, and that's okay. They're not in sequential order. So what does this mean? And then you realize the numbers they match up to the manifest. And you're like, that's 56. That's that dude. It must be. And then there was this moment where I was just joyously running around going, that's that dude. Right. That's okay. But then once you get the easy ones, they then go, because of where the death happened, where the light is focused, the darkness on this one means you can't read those tags. Or this guy has his satchel over the end of his bag covering his number up, or there's a leg hanging and you can't see, like, it rewards you with the lateral knowledge and then going like, not so fast. Like, you've got those ones, here's the next bit. And there's stuff like even the scene with the Kraken. There's a scene where like you see the guy getting ripped in half by the Kraken. And then there's the scene 2 later where there's the guy on the floor, the guy who gets pulled down into the hold, who talks about like, I can't remember the exact wording, but it's like, oh, where's my Frenchman? And it's like the Kraken ripped him apart, and you're like, oh, that's that dude who I've called Tattoo Dude. And it's like, so he must be French, and I'm writing notes on things that are not paper, and there hasn't been a game in a while that's made me do that, and it's also a game that taught me this year that it's okay to look stuff up. Because if I was like, I'm not fucking any of this.
Yeah.
Like, I would just never finish that game and it would have just died off.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was like, it is the Her Story thing of, are you satisfied? And I was satisfied and I wanted to see where it went.
Right,
so I
sure.
did the finished ones. I looked them up. I was like, I was never going to get that anyway.
I don't know that's a good thing.
Well, like...
I don't think the game not showing you enough to be able to finish it on its own merits is not...
But the whole point of the game is that, like, the information's there. If you put the time in, you can get there.
Yeah.
The fact I was not willing to do that
Sure.
is my thing and not the game's.
Yeah.
Like, the game is there. And I know plenty of people who have put the work in and done it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And I'm sure the feeling of satisfaction of doing that is brilliant. Like, but I wasn't getting anything from it. And it was confirmed by the fact that, like, when I looked it up and saw, here's how you figure out who this guy is, you're like, there's no way in hell I would have got that at all. I was satisfied with what I did. I saw the rest of it. That was fine. I don't feel like the bits I didn't do properly were a waste. Like, honestly, for me, like, I would rather cut Labo, actually.
Than Oberdin?
Than Oberdin, to be honest. Like, Labo is super important, I think. And super interesting, but...
Would you rather have those two and then cut X-Punks, or no?
No, because X-Punks is...
I'm with you. I want X-Punks to stick around.
X-Punks is probably 1, 2, or 3 from
sure.
Year. Like, it's really high up there.
Like, I would be okay with either Labo or Oberdin. I have problems with both, so I don't really mind either of them being there. I think Oberdin is more... Not ambitious isn't the right word. It's cleverer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It does more with a limited thing.
It's such a left field thing that you like can't. There's no way that should work as a game. There's no way that should work as a product. Like, there's no way that anyone would buy this. Like, the concept is not the concept you describe to people is not the concept.
Yeah.
It's a game that you can't describe to people. That just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's that over Labo for me.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I do appreciate what the Oberdin does. I just couldn't. I couldn't breach it.
And I've said my piece on Labo. Like, you're right. Like, it needs to be a program that Nintendo get behind.
Yeah. And I think that if the actual stuff out of the end of building was more compelling, other than that piano stuff, because that piano stuff is cool, then it would be better. But it just isn't.
But I also I really appreciate that. And I would not have thought that the company that puts a thing out that encourages kids to go, no, this ain't magic. Here's how this works.
Yeah.
And
look at this reflective surface.
And taking times to actually go, like, no, here's the camera view inside the thing. Like, here's how it works. Here's it. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a 5 of God of War, Lethal League, Monster Hunter World, Oberdin, and X-Punks.
Yeah.
I don't see, based on our conversation, Oberdin going above 5. Because I don't have the energy to fight that, really. I don't think I would ever get there.
Yeah, it's again, I really do appreciate it for what it's done.
Totally.
And I can see it. I know why it's clever. Yeah. I just... Something about my brain just can't...
And I think X-Punks is probably there as well.
I do, having talked about it a lot and stuff, I do really want to play X-Punks now.
You should give it a shot.
And I want to... I should see Red Strings and I should see X-Punks.
It's X-Punks is for sure the one that's like onboarding, where like even if you've never programmed before, like, no, here's the basics that you'll need to go get there. And also, it's
do you think it is an on ramp to learning how to code?
You need to be able to once you have the moment of realizing that programming is not learning a language, programming is knowing the structures.
Yeah,
this is entirely like the structures, except that there's a couple of things. If this was your on-ramp to coding, when you see an actual programming language, you will flip your shit of being like, this is so much easier than the stuff they've given me in this.
Because is Cyberpunk not really like low level? Like,
it's essentially assembler.
Yeah.
Because it's not... But the difference with this one is you get control structures properly. Like, you do get if then else, but it's the way it's done is just obscure enough.
Sure.
Where, like, doing it in a proper language, a
real man's language.
A real language. Okay, so these top 3 are the things we need to organize.
Yes. Is that just it?
I'm looking at it. Is that just it? Like, I have to.
Like, I didn't think Monster Hunter would go above 3 because that's a very me thing.
But I couldn't not, considering the reaction to it. Like,
I'm going to keep playing that thing. I will still play that thing.
Exactly.
Especially when they announced that there's going to be like a big expansion, like a real big expansion, and I'm properly excited for that thing.
It was interesting to see Capcom announce that thing for next fall.
Yeah.
With the implication that we're adding stuff to this.
There is a reason that this game is the best-selling game that Capcom's ever put out.
Which is nuts.
Which is insane. It's a Monster Hunter game. Yeah.
This might be the order.
I'm actually okay with this order.
This might be the order. Like, I am shocked how much I like Lethal League.
It's so good. So they took a game that was already amazing, and
the first game was
somehow made it better.
The first game was so pure, that felt like there was nothing they could add to it that would make it anything but worse. Yeah, and then they made just enough tweaks.
They made the littlest thing,
like, and even just adding the HP stuff.
Yeah,
like is a
changing the system to it's not 1-hit kills.
Yeah,
and adding throws.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Because adding it's weird again in a game like that it's so that if you have a high level of skill that you feels like a thing like that high level players would scoff at. So for them to then go like, no, we need to cater for these people as well. Yeah, the people who would come in and do that. Yeah, like the ability for them not to get one-hitted.
Yeah, so not just get massacred and out. Yeah,
like, and I played that game. I played a chunk of that game single player. Yeah, and it's really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun on your own, and that story mode is like, it's really quirky and totally. It's kind of funny. And
it's like here's the cop with the giant hook.
Yeah,
you're like, oh, which is actually a side of a handcuff, and you're just like, yeah, great
games.
And then like
incredible.
I can't really God of War. Like there's nothing that really was so much of a cohesive package.
Yeah, there was everything. God of War had everything, and it did it all sublimely, like so perfectly.
And like, especially in the year that immediately followed, I've written that in news. What was the announcement of remember the EA letter that said single player games are dead?
Yeah.
Was that this year?
That was last year.
Was that last year?
That was last year after Mass Effect Andromeda fucked up.
Right, that's what it was. Yeah. Oh, because but I thought it was this year, but they said like, hey, we're not doing any. No, that was last year.
It was last year.
For after the single player games are dead.
Yeah.
Conversation
coming out with something
God
like
of
this.
War,
yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And what was the other big one?
Like Red Dead.
Red Dead. Hitman, like all of that stuff being.
They came out in force and went, nah,
we're good.
You can still play single player
zero
stuff.
Multiplayer component at all. Like, God of War is just such a good. Like, actually having these conversations makes me kind of want to play through it again.
I know, yeah.
They never put out anything else for that game, right?
Nope. I can think of.
Like, because I was expecting E3 for them to go like, here's the next chunk of stuff.
They maybe put in like a new game plus or something
the new
like
game
that.
Plus.
And but I think that's it.
And I think that tweaked the ending,
maybe
the very end where they added that coming in, but so they obviously have plans.
Oh yeah, the weird hidden ending at the end of that game was so dumb as well. It was great.
Bizarre. But that obviously set up like
Thor just showing up. Yeah, but obviously they don't want to do a DLC for it because you don't have to.
What are you gonna do?
Like, yeah, you have set up exactly what is going to happen for the next thing, and you don't need to touch it anymore. Thor is on the doorstep, and I'm assuming that the start of God of War 2 is Kratos walking out of his house and fighting Thor. Like, there's nothing in between there. Yeah.
Okay, so if we do Game of the Year from 5 to 1 is Return of the Obra Dinn, Xbox, Monster Hunter World, Lethal Blaze, and God of War. Yeah. That looks like a good cross-section of the two of us.
That's a great list. I love Lethal League, and I love God of War. Yeah.
I'm super impressed with what Monster Hunter World did to people this year.
It was like I said, that was, for me, all that was an experiment, and now I've played it for 180 hours. Totally. Like, it just gets you. Totally.
There was a period of time this year where I came home from my job, my developer job.
Yeah.
Spent 3 hours building a website and then went and played Exapunks. Like
Just
that
coded.
shows like the level of how into Exapunks I was this year.
Yeah.
And then you see like, and again like, when because I missed the. This is so I don't even know if I talked about this. I missed the special edition with the printed zines by like 2 hours. Like I went into work, saw it was still available on Steam.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna buy that when I get home. Got home and it was gone.
Yeah.
So
how did you get the printed zine?
So what happened was, Zachtronics. Zach of Zachtronics.
Yeah.
On Twitter was like, hey, we have 300 copies of the special edition left in a box.
Yeah.
If you want one, email us. And I emailed Zach.
Yeah.
Like
you emailed Zach at Zachtronics.
At Zachtronics, and I was like, hey, I missed your thing by 2 hours. I'm up for getting this.
Would really love this zine.
Immediately get a reply going, here's our it was done through their merchandise store.
Yeah.
Where you bought, they'd added an item to their store that did not exist.
Right.
And it was a 30 quid purchase thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, buy this thing, email me your address, and we'll send it out. And I bought the thing, attached the order thing, send him my address and an email. Got a reply going, cool, it'll be out soon. And then it appeared half later.
Nice.
I was just like, this is...
That's great.
On top of how cyberpunky that game is, that feels like the dumbest way to get those zines.
Yeah.
The most
all emails backwards and forwards.
In this super high quality cardboard envelope. Like,
nice.
And once I show you the thing, like, the second, because the way the game works is you unlock, like, as you get to a point, Ghost comes in the game and delivers you the second zine.
Yeah.
So when you get the printed ones, the second one's in an envelope that says top secret, do not open. Like, it's so cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then Oberdin was just so inventive that I couldn't not put it on. I think that's the list.
I'm really happy with that.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
So I think God of War is our game of the year.
Yeah, it is.
I might end up playing again now that I've seen this.
Yeah.
Lethal League Blaze, Monster Hunter World.
Yep.
I think I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Cool. Before we leave, is there anything that we've done that we haven't talked about that you're into and not ready to talk about? Like, I'm trying to think if there's anything we've started or anything like that came out this year that I just never got a chance to get into.
Not really, no. I think
like,
I've talked.
Because there was a couple of things in December, like Greece was one that I really wanted to get into that I got to.
Yeah.
It was fine. Mutant Year Zero came out in
Didn't
December.
hit
To
that.
touch.
There was one thing. There was what was it called? Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Right.
Which was a game that I only learned about a couple of months ago when I was reading about something else, and they said, "Hey, there's a CRPG that was written by Chris Avalon."
Right. That was
and I went, "Wait, what?" And I didn't. I'd never even registered with it. And so I meant to go back and look at that and never did, but I will do that in the new year when I have my new computer. I'm
just looking at.
It's really interesting that the first few games that I'm going to play when I have a brand new like spanking computer are going to be Danganronpa 3 and like a CRPG.
Yeah, just don't use it.
I'm not going to like kill it by like getting. I'll download Destiny and run it at high settings.
Totally.
But like, it's just weird.
I'm just looking through my Steam wish list that I have not picked up yet. X4, I need to play next year.
Apparently, that's really bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I've not heard good
depressing.
things.
Okay. There's Observation, which is a space horror game from the guys who make developer No Code also made.
There was a really big Elite Dangerous update. I might go back to that.
I need to actually play that game.
Yeah, you should play Elite Dangerous.
I can't see it, but that's...
You've got VR and everything. You could play Elite Dangerous.
After Party is probably the most exciting game. The guys who made Oxenfree.
Oh yeah, that's Drinking with Satan game.
Drinking with Satan game.
I mean, I hate to say it, but like Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out at the end of January.
I mean, I understand you're going to play that. Like,
I'm going to play that a lot of that game.
Probably.
I need to see how it ends.
Yep.
I need to see it.
Necrobarista is early 2019.
Oh yeah, I remember that thing.
Speaking of visual novels.
Yeah, weird like visual novels.
Australian-made, anime-inspired
coffee
3D
barista
visual novel based in a coffee shop in the future. Ooblets is next year.
Oh fuck yeah, Ooblets! I forgot about Ooblets.
Exciting.
Love
Miniko's Night Market, which is the the Stardew Valley game where you harvest cats.
Oh right, yeah.
Looks
Forgot
good.
about that.
There's Skin Deep, which is the new game from Blendo, or the Quadrilateral Cowboy guys, which looks like, hey, imagine if Metal Gear was real dumb.
Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah. That thing was weird.
Like
there's a whole bunch of stuff like that. Like if you're talking about like the bigger stuff, like Anthem comes out. Like,
so yeah, there's Anthem.
Dying Light comes out. Dying Light 2 comes out.
Division 2. Dying Light. Some like February's packed. I'm gonna very quickly look.
Yeah. From what I can remember, there's a lot of stuff. Cyberpunk's not next year.
Oh, that'll be
2021.
Whenever that goddamn game comes out.
Well, if it comes out in 2099, what if that's the...
So, January... Fitness Box? No.
What was that cat game called?
Miniko's Night Market.
Miniko's Night Market?
Look it up. It's an adorable
Look
trailer.
it up after we're done.
Yeah. February. Anthem.
Yep.
Left Alive, which is that game that I still don't know what it is, but it's got all the mech designs from Yoko, the Metal Gear dude,
the guy that drew the Metal Gear
Yoko
stuff.
Shinikawa, whatever his name is. Devil May Cry 5.
Oh fuck yeah!
March. Division 2 is March. Do
that Rev sword again.
Yep.
Throwing his dumb sword.
That's kind of it. I thought there was more.
I think there'll be more later on.
In February. No, I thought it was more confirmed in February. But
I don't know.
According not to Wikipedia. And also Shenmue 3 is currently August 27th. No.
Yeah.
Yakuza.
Yeah, Yakuza. Shenmue.
I hate it when games come out and just like take Yakuza and just copy them completely. It's ridiculous.
I'll quote Jeff Gerstmann about Shenmue and say that it's a forklift simulator for assholes. That's...
I'm with you. Yeah. As a man who played all of Yakuza 0, Yakuza's a better game than Shenmue. Fight me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would fight with you on that.
Oh, that's great. Anyway.
Good year for games.
Good year for games. Next year looks equally as good.
Good for futures.
If we can survive till the end of the year.
Who knows?
See, who knows? Yeah, but thank you for watching. Haven't already seen it. All of our Quiet Man playthrough is up at this point.
Don't advertise that.
Which you should watch so you don't have to play it, if nothing else.
Yeah, don't play the Quiet Man. Play all of our top 5 games, but don't play the Quiet Man.
Play all top 5, for sure. 2019, there's a bunch of stuff I want to do that I feel that we're settled in a position where I want to talk to more game devs.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the reasons I wanted to start doing this. Got some people that I'm going to reach out to in the start of the year.
Go and hit up that thing that happens.
The next one of them is supposed to be next year. They kind of went on a hiatus for some stuff.
Let's go there again and talk to some people.
Part of me thinks we should plan ahead for... What's the one that happens in Nottingham? Not Nottingham, Birmingham.
EGX? Oh god.
Like, it's the closest one of those to us. Considering we'd never get near Cologne.
I mean, getting into EGX would be difficult enough. But
think?
Yeah.
It's an open show, isn't it?
It's open, but it's like...
Oh, yeah. But, you know, it'd be...
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll see. Thank you for watching. Enjoy... Well, this will be out in, like, early January.
Yeah.
So hopefully you had a good...
Have a good new year.
And you had a good new year, and we will be back with programming soon. Bye.
Bye.